So this one is exercise related to the topic 1.1, which is about length and time. So the diagram shows a rectangular metal sheet and the two rulers are there. What is the area? How to work out the area of, so it will be length multiplied by width. So when the length is multiplied by width, we'll get the area. It's starting at 5 and ending at 25. So this one is equals to 20. And it is starting at 10 and ending at 45. So means this is equals to 35. So to get the area, it's length multiplied by width. So it will be 20 multiplied by 35, which is equals to 700. And the unit, because both are in centimeters, so unit of area will be centimeter square. That's why A will be the right answer for this. Is it clear? The first question?
Yes.
In question 2, which row shows the best choice of measuring instrument to obtain an accurate value? If you want to measure a very small values, small measurements are there. So what we prefer, we use a micrometer. So diameter of a wire, we prefer a micrometer. The height of the bench, that is like within a meter. So we will prefer to use a meter rule or a meter scale. Where if length of a lab, it's like several meters, like it will be more than 1 meter. So if you want to measure more than 1 meter, in that case, we prefer to use a measuring tape. So the correct answer for this one is D. Then which instrument is used to measure accurately the diameter of a very thin wire? So 30 centimeter ruler, the smallest value it can measure is 0.1 centimeter. A measuring tape, several meter, but the smallest value is 0.1. A meter rule, 1 meter maximum, a smallest value is 0.1. But a micrometer is 0.01 millimeter. So micrometer is the most accurate instrument. That's why we prefer to use a micrometer for a very small value. In question 4, the diagram shows the height of a stack. Identical coins are there. So how many coins are there? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, and 12. So these are the 12 coins. The thickness, the height of one coin is equals to 2.4 divided by 12. So that is equals to 0.2 centimeter. 0.2 centimeter, which is if we convert into millimeter, because there is option of 0.24 centimeter, not 0.2. So that it cannot be or 2 centimeter. Others are millimeter. So if we convert the centimeter into millimeter, we multiply by 10. So when we multiply by 10, it will be equals to 2 millimeter. So B should be the right answer. Is it clear, this one? Question 5, the diameter of a copper wire is approximately 0.3 millimeter. Which instrument should be obtained more accurate measure? So diameter of a wire, the most accurate one will be a micrometer screw gauge. So C should be the right answer. You can also use the chat to answer if you want to. The chat is open. But I'll discuss each question. For which of the following measurement would a micrometer screw gauge be the most suitable? So micrometer, diameter of an atom is like very small. A micrometer is not at all suitable. Length of a pencil or a length of a page, it's bigger. So which one is the smallest value? Diameter of the wire. So C should be the right answer. Then we have a pendulum which complete 50 swings in 2 minutes and 40 seconds. how to work out the time period? The time period is a total time divided by number of oscillations or number of vibration. That will give us a time period. So total time, because all the options are in seconds, so it should be in seconds. So 2 minutes, and so 2 minutes and 40 seconds. 2 minutes means 120 plus 40, so this is 116. And the total number of oscillation is 50. So 160 divided by 50, that's equal to 3.2. So B will be the right answer. The diagram shows an enlarged drawing. It has been used to measure a length of a small feather. So it's starting, like the top scale is in millimeter and the bottom scale is in centimeter. So it is starting from 10 millimeter and ending at 29 millimeter. So the length from 10 to 29, that is equals to 19 millimeter. Or in terms of centimeter, it's starting at 1 centimeter and ending at 2.9 centimeter. So length in terms of centimeter is 1.9 centimeter. So all the centimeter should be 1.9, but this is 29, this is 19. So we are left with millimeter. So starting at 10 and ending at 29, so the length is equals to 19 millimeter. So A should be the right answer. Is it clear, this one? In question 9, what is the most accurate, precise method of measuring a thickness of a coin? So if you want to measure the thickness of the coin, what we prefer to use a micrometer. So use of a micrometer screw gauge, that will give us a more accurate result. Use a ruler and then look perpendicular, but ruler can only, like smallest value is 0.1 centimeter, which is not that accurate. And top pen balance is not for length, it is for mass of an object. And displacement method is for volume of the coins, not the thickness of the coin. In question 10, the length of a cotton is measured between the 2 points on a ruler or the scale. What is the length of a cotton wound closely around a pen? It goes 6 times. What is the distance for 1 round? So how to work out distance of 1 round, or they can also ask what is the circumference of the pen. So first we'll measure the length of the 6 turns. So it is starting at 2.4 and ending at 15.6. So how much is the length from 2.4 to 15.6? So it will be 15.6 minus 2.4, which is equals to 13.2. So this length equals to 13.2. But 13.2 is the length for the 6 turns. We need for 1 turn. So how to get like the total length, which was 13.2 centimeter, it is divided by the number of the turns. So we divided by 6. Why we divided by 6? Because there are 6 turns. If there were like 10 turns, we'll divide by 10. 20 turns, we'll divide by 20 to get the length of each turn. So 13.2 divided by 6, that is equals to 2.2, or A will be the right answer. Is it clear, this one?
Yes, sir, clear.
Then what is the smallest value which a micrometer screw gauge can record? That is equals to 0.01 millimeter. It's a fixed value, which the smallest fixed value which it can record, it's equal to 0.01 millimeter. If it was a meter rule, then it will be 0.1 centimeter, or you can also say 1 millimeter. So there's a fixed value a micrometer screw gauge can record, the smallest value which a micrometer can record. Then which instrument is the most suitable for measuring a thickness? Because when we want to measure a small value, small shorter length, what we prefer to use a micrometer. Because like the 15 centimeter ruler, it will be 0.1 centimeter accurate. Balance is not at all suitable because it is used to measure the mass, and a meter rule is there to measure the length, but it is 0.1 centimeter accurate. In question 13, a student has a measuring cylinder which contain water, and he's also having a balance. Which of these could she use to find the volume of a small metal sphere? So what we need the volume of the sphere. Look, we can use, because it's a sphere is there, so it's a regular object. For regular object, we can use a formula. What is the volume of the sphere? It is 4 by 3 pi r cube. That is the volume of the sphere. So if we have a sphere, we find the diameter, and the diameter divided by 2 will get the radius, and then substitute here, will get the volume. That is one method. The other method is, that is also known as a displacement method. What will happen? We'll fill the measuring cylinder with liquid, and then we'll add an object. So the moment we add an object, what will happen? The volume will change. And how much the volume changes, that is equal to the volume of the object. The difference in the volume, like if this volume is V1, this volume is V2. So difference will give us the volume of the object. So she has no other apparatus, either a measuring cylinder containing water and balance. Balance is wrong, because balance is for the mass of an object, not volume. A measuring cylinder containing water only, she can use that. Like she can fill the measuring cylinder with water, then measure its volume, add an object. How much the volume changes, that is the volume of object. The balance only balance, it will find the mass, and neither measuring cylinder nor balance. That is totally wrong. So B is the right answer. Is it clear? Question 13.
Yes.
Question 14, the diagram shows a stone of irregular shape. So how we'll check this? The assignments, Hamza, the assignments, because you submitted late the first assignment, that's why your assignment I did not check. But for others, those who submit on time, I already marked and forward them. So for you also, I will check this week and I will send your assignment. I will mark the assignment. You don't have to check by yourself. The diagram shows a stone of irregular shape. Which property of a stone can be found by lowering into a measuring cylinder which is half filled? So how we can, what we can find the volume of an object. So we fill the measuring cylinder with a liquid, and then we add the irregular object. Even a regular object like a sphere also, if we add a sphere, so it will also work. That, like how much the volume displaced, that is equals to the volume of an object. So it can be even for a regular or for irregular. Both of them we can use a measuring cylinder, but the condition is that the object should be immersed, like object should fit into a measuring cylinder, or object should not float on the surface of the water or a liquid, otherwise it won't be accurate. So measuring cylinder are used to measure the volume of an object. A student investigates a pendulum. He measures a time for a pendulum for 20 oscillations. He repeats the experiment 3 more times as shown. What is the average period of pendulum? How to take out the average? So what we normally do, we add them. Whenever we want to take average, like sum divided by total. So we will, and this is average period of pendulum. Like this is a time for 20 oscillation. First, we'll find the time period. What will the time for one oscillation? So this 17.6 is their time for 20 oscillation. We'll find time for one oscillation, which is 17.6 divided by 20 equals to 0.88. Then 19.8 divided by 20. Why we are dividing by 20? Because there are 20 oscillations. So this is 0.99. 17.6 divided by 20. Again 0.88. And 18.6 divided by 20, that's equal to 0.93. Now we'll take an average. How to take an average? We add them, like 0.88 plus 0.99 plus 0.88 plus 0.93. We sum them, which is 3.68, and divided by the total number of the values, which are 4. So it's equal to 0.92. So B will be the right answer. Is it clear how we work out the average period of pendulum from the table? So first we got the time period, because this is a time for 20 oscillation. First we get the time period, or you can also say period of oscillation. And then period of oscillation, 4 values are there. To take an average, we add them and divide it by total number. Any question or doubt in this? 15?
No, sir.
Okay. If we take average first and then divide, yeah, that's also, it will be same. It won't make difference. If you first take an average and then divide the final average by 20, it will also give you the same result. It's the same thing, no difference. Then which instrument is most suitable of measuring the thickness of a sheet of paper? So that it's like a repeated question is there. So micrometer, screw gauge. Then this question, the diagram shows 3 forces which are acting on the object. What is the value of the resultant force on the object? First thing, a 9 Newton is acting towards right and a 1 Newton is acting towards left. So what will the resultant of 9 Newton and 1 Newton, which are in opposite direction? What is the resultant of only these 2 forces as they're in opposite direction? So it will be 8 Newton. So the resultant of 9 Newton and 1 Newton will be equal to 8 Newton. And what is the, like this 6 Newton is upward, there is no downward force. So there is a force of 6 Newton, which is upward. So 6 Newton is upward. Now we want to find the resultant of these 2 forces, because look, 9 Newton towards right and 1 Newton towards left create a resultant of 8 Newton towards right. And 6 Newton is already there upward. So what it create a perpendicular forces, like forces are perpendicular. So when forces are perpendicular, 8 Newton and 6 Newton, so how to work out? 8 Newton cannot be towards left. The reason is that because the higher force is 9 Newton is higher than 1 Newton. So the force which is on the right hand side is higher than the force which is on the left hand side. So resultant of 9 Newton and 1 Newton should always be towards the right hand side. It cannot be towards the left. And a force of 6 Newton is acting upward. Now what it create a right angle triangle. So how to work out the resultant of a right angle triangle? So you have to use a Pythagoras theorem. So according to Pythagoras theorem, the hypotenuse square means the resultant is equals to base square plus perpendicular. So 8 square plus 6 square in a root. What's the answer for this? 8 square plus 6 square in a root. So 8 square, yeah, 64 will be there. 6 square is 36. So the result will be square root of 100. Square of root of 100 equals to 10 Newton. That's why B will be the right answer. Is it clear, this question?
Yes, sir.
The first, when like, because here we have 3 forces and all the 3 forces are not in the same direction. What if, for example, there was a same question and a 6 Newton was acting in this way? Because they are in the same plane, like horizontal forces are there. In that case, this is 9 Newton and this one is 6 plus 1, total 7. So resultant will be equals to 2 Newton. A will be the answer in this case. But because one of the force is perpendicular, so first we find the resultant of the 2 horizontal forces. Then there is a perpendicular force. So we got the resultant by using a Pythagoras, because the forces are 90-degree or perpendicular to each other. What if was a force? What if there was a force both up and down? Yeah. So if, for example, if, yeah, the same way for, yeah, that's for example, if there was another force acting downward, example, at 3 Newton or 2 Newton was acting downward. So first we'll find the horizontal force 9 Newton towards right. and 1 Newton toward left. So there will be a 8 Newton force. And a force of 6 Newton up and 2 Newton down. So there will be a upward force of 4 Newton because the result, as they're in opposite, so result will be 6 minus 2, which is equals to 4. Now when we find the resultant, it will be 8 square plus 4 square in a row. In that case. So we separately solve the horizontal forces, we separately solve the vertical forces and find the resultant of the two. Then the period of oscillation for a mass hanging from a spring is there. As you can see, what is the best value? As you can see, 1.8, 1.8, 1.8, 1.8. So you can say the best value is 1.8. And reason is that because it repeats many times. And how we can find the period of oscillation more accurately? So first, we always mark the mean and extreme position. Then we will record the time for 20 oscillations. Then we will divide the time recorded by number of oscillation. And we will always repeat the experiment. And not only mention repeat experiment, you should mention how many times, like repeat the experiment 3 times is like the minimum way. So we'll mention repeat experiment 3 times and take an average. That's how it should be done. Yeah, reset the stopwatch is also a point. Mark mean in extreme positions, reset the stopwatch, record the time for 20 oscillation, divide the time recorded by number of oscillation to get the period, and then repeat the experiment 3 times, and then at the last take an average. Then another student provided with a mean of a cutting sheet and decided to find the average thickness of a single measuring instrument. Assume that the surface of a sheet are perfectly smooth. So whenever thickness of sheet or thickness of wire, so what instrument we prefer? We prefer a micrometer. And describe the procedure she should follow to obtain accurate value, average thickness. So how a micrometer must be used or how a micrometer can be used. So for a micrometer, we always first check for zero error. Like scale, usually for a micrometer, the main scale and the circular scale may not be in line. So there is an error. So we always check for zero error. Then we don't measure for a one sheet, like record the thickness for like 20 sheets or 10 sheets, and then divide the thickness recorded by number of the sheets. Like in this case, we'll divide by 10. And then again, we'll mention repeat the experiment 3 times. And we will take an average. So repeating experiment and mentioning how many, what is the meaning? Check for zero error. Because when a micrometer screw gauge is not used, when nothing is placed between the jaws of a micrometer, so this is a main scale and this one is circular. So main scale and circular scale should coincide with each other. Their zeros should in line with each other. This means there is no zero error. But if a micrometer is having a zero error, means some value might be recorded. So the main scale and the circular scale 0 will not coincide. So this is a micrometer with a zero error. So whenever a micrometer screw gauge is used, we always check for the zero error. So the distribution of the marks, like how the marks are distributed for this question. So mentioning check for the zero error, then measuring a thickness from different places or several and take an average, but that's how the marks are distributed. If you write one sheet, measure a thickness for one sheet, you will lose a mark. You will lose one of the mark because we always prefer to measure like for more values, which is like greater values. Reason is that it reduces a percentage uncertainty. Like we will be certain in our results. That's why we always prefer to measure for like 10, 20. If you see the time period also, we always try to measure for 20 vibration or 10 vibrations. So this was the weekly homework, the exercise related to the first topic, length and time.